Hey everybody, Jerry here from Android Central, and we're going to run some benchmarks here on the Nexus S. We are not running Quadrant. Quadrant does not work 100% with Gingerbread. Don't want to bother wasting my time and yours showing off an app that's not quite right yet. So we're going to dive right in here to LinPack. You can see it's 14.5 from my last run. Yeah, I can never get these done in one take, which works out well sometimes, but as you can see, it benchmarks here in LinPack right around 14, which for the Hummingbird processor is very good. Gingerbread has done nicely for it. Let's back out and we'll jump here into Neocore. Everybody's familiar with this. It benchmarks the older version of OpenGL, which the Nexus S fully supports. Let's run the benchmark and see it's a lot going on there in what looks like a little miniature Gotham City with explosions and tanks and fire trucks and whatnot. Real world performance is just as good. The benchmarks are made to showcase things like the graphic performance. You play a game and it works and looks just as good as this does. And newer games look just as good, as we'll see here in a few minutes when we run Ninamark. But I'll just be quiet now and let you enjoy the flying robots on a killing spree. And there we go, 55.6. That's more than acceptable. You're going to love playing any game at that kind of frame rate, so that's not a problem. Let's check out the standard frame rate. And yes, when I do benchmarks, I do not shut the services of my phone off. I'm not going to shut them off when I run the apps, so there's no sense in shutting off the services when I do the benchmark. You can see I just got a message come in. Let's check out just the standard frame rate of the screen. We're running FPS, and I'll have links to all these applications, in the post. That way you can see how it measures up against your phone and know whether or not you'd be interested in upgrading. You can see a nice bell curve there. A little bit of red, which means it's outside of the range we want. The average is 55 frames per second. The deviation is 7. I've seen better, but again, that's more than acceptable. Let's back out of here. And since we couldn't run Quadrant, I dug up Ninamark, which does show off the new OpenGL ES 2.0, I think it's called, that the Nexus S fully supports, just like many other new phones. Let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. Get things centered, because it looks beautiful. That I do want to, put out a little bit of bias. It looks gorgeous. Just as nice or nicer as any other phone I've tried. See the cameras flying around, and there's butterflies and birds and trees and reflections and sky, and it's got a lot going on at one time, which is, that's why it's a benchmark. It's putting it under stress, seeing how it performs, and to me it performs really well. You notice the smoke coming out of the cabin. It's not choppy, and it doesn't have hard angular edges. That to me is a sign of what's good. 46.6 frames per second. You're not going to complain about that when you're playing any type of 3D game. So as far as benchmarks are concerned, the Nexus S does just fine. There may be other things you like or don't like about the phone, but you can't say it doesn't perform good enough. Whether or not it performs good enough to compete with the next generation of handsets is anybody's guess. And when we get those, we'll certainly put them head to head and try it. That's all I've got for you today. You all have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.